Mahler has always been one of the central composers in my life, as long as I've been conducting professionally. So it's not an unusual or inexplicable thing that they turn up in my programs. It feels appropriate somehow to come back to Mahler's Third Symphony. That was the first piece I ever conducted with the Philharmonia, and now, of course, after 10 years as the principal conductor, it somehow marks the passage of time quite nicely. I do have memories of the very first time. And it's also somehow inspiring and reassuring to realize that things that I found really difficult then are no longer difficult. And the score that felt like an enemy, an opponent, like in some kind of a wrestling match, now feels like a friend. So we are collaborating rather than punching each other. The whole thing, I know it happened because I'm talking about it to you, but it really feels like a dream. It was so unlikely, everything. To make a longish story short, I was invited to replace Michael Tilson Thomas, a good friend of mine, now, in the Third Symphony of Mahler with the Philharmonia with essentially 3 days' notice. I got the phone call from my Finnish manager, who was also a golf appliance retailer, splitting his time between golf courses and managing a few youngsters. And it was early in the morning, and I had had a long night with my pals, composer pals, somewhere here in Helsinki, actually. And he said, so Mahler 3 with the Philharmonia, what do you think? And I told him to go away. Using language I will not repeat here. Then he called back a few hours later, and then I was more amenable to actually discuss things, and he said I wasn't kidding. The Philharmonia needs somebody to conduct Mahler 3, and they made an inquiry. So what do you say? And I was like, Mahler 3, what, how does that go? And I realized I had never heard it in my life, and I had never seen the score. So I called the Finnish radio library, and they kindly sent me a score, and I looked at it, and I thought, okay, well, it's long, but I'll try. Nothing to lose. Didn't sleep much. I learnt the piece and went to the first rehearsal, and the Philharmonia was wonderful. They were so incredibly warm and supportive and good-humored. It was really fun, and I felt this amazing connection with these people, which has been there ever since. And it's mysterious sometimes how these things happen, but it really is the same mechanism as between people generally, that sometimes you meet somebody and you think, okay, this person is going to be a great influence in my life. And then you have the opposite reaction also, that, okay, all flags go up and stay away. And this happens with orchestras also. And with the Philharmonia, I had this sort of sense that this group of people is always going to be a very important thing in my life. And that was 30 years ago, and more than 30 years ago, and they still are. So obviously something worked. Well, what happened was some kind of an avalanche of things, and I was completely unprepared, as I had no designs. I had no dreams of being some kind of a jet set dude flying around in business class. I found it embarrassing and kind of annoying as an image. But of course, what happened after the Mahler 3 was that lots of telefaxes started coming in. There were telefaxes those days. That was pre-email, if you can imagine such a thing. And I was being invited to everywhere. And of course, I was young and curious, and I thought, okay, let's find out what this is. And I started conducting, I think, in certain cases, way above my head. I did things I shouldn't have done, but I think youth is the time when you can do that, and should. It really changed my life overnight.